You ever feel like you're doing everything you're supposed to do with money? Like, you're not blowing it on stupid stuff, you're not racking up insane debt, you're working hard, and yet somehow you're still broke. Or maybe not broke, but you're not getting ahead either. Your bank account looks basically the same as it did a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, and you can't quite figure out what you're doing wrong. Here's the uncomfortable truth. It's probably not one big catastrophic mistake keeping you stuck. It's not that you bought a car you couldn't afford or made some terrible investment. It's way more subtle than that. My name is Chris, and I spend way too much time thinking about money and why people make the financial decisions they do. And what I've realized is that most people who stay broke aren't making obvious mistakes. They're practicing 3 small money habits that seem completely harmless, maybe even responsible, but are quietly destroying their ability to build wealth. And the worst part? These habits feel normal. They feel like what everyone does. But by the end of this, you're going to see exactly how these invisible patterns are keeping you trapped, and more importantly, how to break them. Let's start with the first habit, and this one's so common that people don't even realize it's a problem. It's what I call financial reactivity, and it's basically living your financial life in response mode instead of planning mode. Here's what it looks like in practice. You get paid, and then you start paying bills as they come due. Rent's due on the 1st, so you pay rent. Credit card bill shows up, you pay the minimum or maybe a bit more if you're feeling good about money that week. Car insurance is due, you handle it, you buy groceries when the fridge is empty, you fill up gas when the tank's low. Everything is reactive. Everything is responding to immediate needs and demands. And on the surface, this seems fine, right? Bills are getting paid, life is functioning. But here's the problem. When you're operating in reactive mode, your future self never gets paid. There's no system that automatically moves money toward savings or investments or building wealth. You're telling yourself you'll save whatever's left over at the end of the month. But there's never anything left over because expenses expand to fill whatever space you give them. Meanwhile, the person who's building wealth, they flip the script, they pay themselves first. Before anything else happens, money automatically flows to savings, to investments, to their future. They automated it, so it happens before they can even think about it, and then they live on whatever's left. It's the exact opposite approach, and it makes all the difference. Because when you're reactive, you're basically hoping to build wealth, but when you're proactive, you're systematically building wealth whether you feel like it or not. The second habit is what I call lifestyle matching, and this one's absolutely brutal because it feels so reasonable in the moment. Here's how it works. You're in your 20s, you're making entry-level money, and you live accordingly. Roommates, cheap apartment, cooking at home, being careful with spending because you have to be. Then you get a raise or a better job, suddenly you're making 20 or 30% more, and it feels amazing, so you upgrade your life to match. You get your own place or a nicer place. You start eating out more because you can afford it now. Maybe you finance a better car because the old one's kind of embarrassing and you're doing better now. And here's the thing. None of these individual decisions feel irresponsible. They all feel like you're just living at the level you've earned. But what you've actually done is locked yourself into a new, higher level of expenses that now require that higher income just to maintain. You're making more money, but you're not getting ahead because your lifestyle inflated to match your income, and then it happens again. Another raise, another lifestyle upgrade, more money coming in, more money going out, and somehow you're still living paycheck to paycheck just at a higher dollar amount. Meanwhile, the person building wealth, they got those same raises and promotions, but they kept their lifestyle mostly the same. They didn't deprive themselves, but they didn't let their expenses automatically scale with their income either. That extra money went straight to investments. And over 5, 10, 15 years, the gap between someone practicing lifestyle matching and someone who isn't becomes absolutely massive. We're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars difference, sometimes more, all because one person's lifestyle inflated while the other person's didn't. And then there's the third habit, and honestly, this might be the most psychologically damaging one. It's what I call small dollar blindness, and it's this tendency to completely ignore small purchases because they don't feel significant enough to matter. $5 for coffee doesn't register as a financial decision. $12 for lunch, whatever, it's just lunch. $8 for a streaming service you barely use, it's only $8. $15 here, $20 there, and none of it feels like it matters because individually, these purchases are tiny. But here's what people don't realize. It's not about the individual purchase, it's about the pattern. That $5 coffee 5 days a week is $1,300 a year. The $12 lunch every workday is $3,000 a year. Those subscription services you're not really using add up to $50 or $100 a month, which is $1,200 a year. And when you add up all these small dollar decisions that don't feel like they matter, you're easily spending $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a year on stuff that barely registers consciously. Now, $7,000 might not sound like it would change your life, but if you invested that $7,000 every year at an average 8% return, in 30 years, that's over $800,000. $800,000, that's the real cost of small dollar blindness, not the $7,000 you're spending now, but the hundreds of thousands you're not building because you convinced yourself small purchases don't matter. Meanwhile, the person building wealth isn't necessarily depriving themselves of everything, but they're conscious about it. They notice the small dollars. They make intentional decisions instead of just letting money leak out in 1,000 tiny directions. And here's what makes these three habits so dangerous. They all reinforce each other. When you're financially reactive, you don't have a system to catch the lifestyle matching. When you're practicing lifestyle matching, you end up with higher expenses that make the small dollar spending feel less significant by comparison. And when you're blind to small dollar leaks, you end up without money to be proactive with, which keeps you stuck in reactive mode. It's this vicious cycle where each habit makes the others worse, and before you know it, years have gone by and you're still in the exact same financial position you were in before, wondering why you can't get ahead when you feel like you're doing everything right. Look, here's what you need to understand. And I mean, really internalize. Being broke isn't usually about making one catastrophic financial mistake. It's about practicing 3 subtle habits that seem normal, but quietly sabotage everything. Financial reactivity means your future self never gets funded. Lifestyle matching means your expenses rise as fast as your income. And small dollar blindness means money leaks out faster than you can notice. These aren't character flaws, they're not signs you're bad with money, they're just habits, and habits can change. But you have to see them first. You have to recognize that what feels normal, paying bills as they come, upgrading your lifestyle when you get raises, ignoring small purchases, is actually keeping you trapped. So if you're stuck financially, stop looking for the big mistake you made. Look at these 3 patterns instead. Because once you flip them, once you become proactive instead of reactive, once you keep your lifestyle stable while your income grows, once you pay attention to the small dollars, everything changes. Not overnight, not magically, but consistently, compound by compound, month by month. Until one day you look up and realize you're not broke anymore, and honestly, that's worth way more than any amount of coffee or slightly nicer apartment ever was. If this hit home for you, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. And if you want to understand what happens once you break these habits and start building real wealth, check out why $100,000 feels small until you understand this. I'll see you in the next one.